Hi, this is Cheryl St.Pierre of Majestic Wire Artworks. In this video, I'm going to make a pendant, drop pendant rather. I'm calling it Fancy Swirl Pendant for Pendant Drop Bar. And I'm not going to show you how to make the pendant bar because I did that in the last video. And that was the pendant drop bar. Oh, now I can't remember the name of it, but I'll put the link in the description. I can't put the link up here, but I can in the description, so if you need it. But it was the last video I made, so they should be in sequence. And I can guarantee you that the pendant we make will look different than this. I try to make it, let's see, the original one, this one, it was supposed to have been an earring, and I couldn't mirror it because it got kind of chaotic. And so I've made, in this video, we're making this one. It's very similar, but I've got the steps broken down a little bit simpler, and I actually think it turned out a little bit nicer, a little bit more elegant. And so hopefully you'll have success in creating it too. Of course, you know, no matter how hard you try to make them the same, it's going to be different. So just be patient with yourself. This took a lot of attempts to make it. You'll see in the future. I actually tell you in the later on in the video, that is, I actually tell you how many times it took me to make this video. So anyways, this is the supply lists now. So for tools, it's pretty basic. You're going to need a ruler, your flush cutters, you're going to need your chain nose pliers and your round nose pliers. So pretty basic. And the supplies are pretty simple too. You're going to need your 20 gauge dead soft wire. You're going to need one 2-foot piece, which is 24 inches or 60 centimeters long. Excuse me. You're going to need one 4mm bicone and I've used one hexagon crystal that's 15 by 15 millimeters, but you could, I'll describe it later. You can use different beads for this, so that'll be later on in the video as well. Okay, so just from this point on, please share my videos if you enjoy them with others on Facebook, Twitter, or whatever place that you can share it. I just appreciate all the help you can get me just to promote my channel, and of course, you know, help out your friends as well. So if you have the same interest with somebody, maybe you could do the video together. Okay, so let's move on and let's make the pendant. So this is the 5th time I'm attempting to make this pendant drop. So I just wanted to let you know that. So if you get frustrated with making something, keep on trying, because that's what I'm doing. And because of all this, my video isn't coming out as early as I'd like. So what I want you to do though is take your 20 gauge wire. We're going to try and find the center. We're going to put the ends together like this and just, you know, go like this. And then that's the approximate center. Then once you've got that approximate center, I want you to guesstimate about 20 millimeters or 2 centimeters. And I'm hoping you have a ruler that has metric on it, because metric is just so much more it's better for smaller measurements for jewelry making. It's got smaller increments. And we're going to make a loop at that point. So we've got this bottom wire. See that I'm out of focus. Why am I out of focus? The bottom wire, or the left wire, is 4 centimeters shorter than this wire. And we're going to use that 4 centimeters to make that loop. And we only want a small loop because originally this was an earring. So the same size you would make for an earring. and it will fit on the pendant bar. So make your loop, and I'm going to be fighting with the camera with this, so forgive me if I go off screen, because the stand for my camera is on the immediate right hand side, and I cannot move there. So I want you now to wrap 3 times around. I'm going to go this way. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So I've got it like that. I'm going to do one more wrap. Okay, and now the next step is we want approximately 1 centimeter distance down from the bottom of the wraps. And I'm just going to do some swirls and wrap around. This is just to strengthen that wire. It's not really meant to look pretty or anything. If it shows up behind your work, it will add to it, definitely. Okay. And now we want it to go behind, because it's going to lock the bead in. So the next thing is to put the bead on the straight wire. Now the bead that I'm using, in the description I've already written 15 millimeters in length. It's also 15 millimeters in width, but the most important part is it's 15 millimeters in length. So you could use a coin bead that's round, say a semi-precious bead. It doesn't have to be this type of bead. Or you could use an oval bead, an oval bead that's like 15 millimeters long and maybe 10 millimeters wide or 12 millimeters wide, because if it's narrower, we can just make the wire wrapping a little bit closer on the right hand side. So that gives you some options of using different types of beads. You don't have to have the exact bead I have. So now I'm going to put the bead on the wire that doesn't have the swirls on it. And you need to pay attention to what side of the bead you want forward, because we're going to be locking the bead in place, and you can't flip it around once that's done. Okay, do I want, oh yeah, I want that one. Okay, so this is the back. Oh, I'm fighting with this. I'm fighting. Okay, like that. So we want the bead to be about 1 centimeter. If it's a little bit longer than 1 centimeter, that's okay. Okay. So that's the front. Okay, now I'm going to lock it in place by wrapping this around the base. Okay, now we want it to end up on the right hand side. So wrap enough times as you need to make it on the right hand side. And if you're like me, this is never facing quite forward. We're gonna do a little bit more wire wrap and fix it later, just because we want it to make sure it's straight later. It's gonna move on us no matter what we do. So next what I want you to do is move both wires that way, and we're gonna lock the bead even more in place by putting a tiny swirl at the bottom. And that was a counterclockwise swirl. And now I want to make another loop around that. And I want to have there be a bit of difference with the wire. So I pull on a wire like that, just to give more interest. And then bring it up the front of the bead like that. So if it was an oval, you'd probably need to have this up closer. Maybe make the loops smaller, whatever it takes. Okay, and then about middle to a little bit higher than the middle of the bead. We're going to make a clockwise loop. I'm trying to make the wire split apart. Doesn't always cooperate. There, I got it to do it. I try to do that on purpose. So it's spreads apart. Now I want to do another loop right above it. And that loop could be a little bit smaller or a little bit larger, just so that it doesn't look exactly the same. Okay, and now I'm going to, oh, I'm out of, sorry, I hope I haven't done any work out of focus there. And I'm just going to wrap around the base like this. Okay, and I'm actually going to push this up a little bit. I want it to be a little higher. Okay, now we're going to do similar to what we did here. We're going to do a small loop and then a larger loop. So I'm just straightening out my stem. And I want it to be on a smidge on the left side. The small loop could be centered. Like that. And then I want it, the second loop, to go further to the left. So like that. I'm going to pull that one tighter. Like that. And then I'm just double checking my other one to see what I want to do. Okay, so now for strength, we're going to wrap it around the stem. And we want, okay, and I'm going to support that in place the way I want it. Make sure my stem is straight and facing the right way, and then wrap around the stem like that. So that's done. And now I'm going to pull it tight. I want it tightly. I want it to be coming really close to the stem right there. See how I got it really tight in there? And now I want to put a bead on the upper, I think this one's the upper wire. I'm going to take my bicone and put it on there. And we want the bicone to actually sit on the right hand side, so right there. And then I'm going to bend it up so it's like this, and then loop around like that. And then we're going to take this wire, so it's going to go underneath that one. I mean underneath the end of that one, just so it's following it. And then I'm going to make that as a frame for the bead. Okay, so it looks like that. And I'm pushing it down a little bit so it hugs the bead a little bit better. Okay, and then now at that point, we want to make another little loop in here to fill the gap right there. So we're going to just make another loop. Now it could be further down, up, like, well, however it turns out, you need to be happy and satisfied with that. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the back, and then we're going to come, we're going to go to the back, and we're going to come up underneath here. But we don't want to mess this swirl up, so I'm holding the swirl, so I want you to support it like that and pull to the back. See how I did that? It supported it, kept it in place. If you don't hang on to it, you'll end up messing up that loop. And then you come underneath, so it's like that. And now we're going to trim this wire off. So I gave us plenty of wire in case your loops were bigger. You've got some playroom. I wouldn't want to go shorter because you need that playroom. See that first spiral loop we did to support the stem? It actually augmented the wire wrapping. Sometimes it shows up, sometimes it doesn't. So that's what that loop is, and I think it turned out beautifully there. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to snip off these wires about 1 centimeter from the center there. And then the top one we'll do about 8 millimeters instead. So I'm first going to cut them both at 1 centimeter and then shorten the top one, because I want the one to be shorter than the other. So actually I'm just guesstimating 1 centimeter. If you want to measure, go ahead. But I'm pretty good at guesstimating that. Now you can use your round nose pliers here or your chain nose. I prefer my chain nose because it grips better for me. And I'm going to just make a loop. Oops, sorry. I'm just going to make a loop, doing the shorter one first. Make it touch itself so that we don't have any ends poking out. And I'm going to actually try and tuck it in. It's actually not even facing forward, and that's okay. I just want it to be safe and have a curled end. And this one, I might make it a little flatter, but it is angled too, but it looks nice the way it is. And then I'm going to actually take my pliers and push it in a little bit more, because I want to make sure that these don't catch on anything. So it's not going to catch on anything. It's going to stay in place. Now it does, my bead does have a little bit of movement. I'm just going to push this wire in a little bit more because I don't really want it to have movement there. Now if you had an oval bead, pushing it in would be helpful for it too. And there, that one's done. It's not exactly like the other one, as I explained before. But, you know, it's almost impossible to do it exact. And I actually like this one a little bit better. Hopefully, I explained it in a way that you can duplicate it somewhat. Anyways, don't expect it to be perfect. Even if I do it, it's going to turn out different every time. Even if I try to make it exactly the same, it isn't. It's similar, but unique. Okay, so thank you for joining me in this video. Please subscribe if you haven't. Click the bell to get notifications of when my new tutorials come out. And I have links of ways that you can support me. So check it out in the description. If you believe in my channel, let me know. And I love all your comments. Thank you for commenting. God bless. Talk to you later.